Welcome back. When there's a shooting, particularly when it happens at a school, the talk often turns to how can we help our kids? Well, Jay Grimm is the Director of Student Equity and Opportunity with Denver Public Schools and is joining us now. And I think with school back in session for all districts, I'm sure this is top of mind. But you say DPS is what you call trauma-informed. So what does that mean?
Yeah, 2 years ago, our Board of Education became aware of some studies going on nationally. Really, we saw that 1 in 4 children in Colorado have experienced 2 or more adverse childhood experiences. These are single events of neglect or abuse or other traumatic experiences that have a lasting impact on our kids. So knowing that in Denver Public Schools, 1 in 4 kids is bringing that trauma into the classroom, the board really said we need to get proactive and really support these students so they can actively engage in learning. That led to a board resolution saying that we would be a trauma-informed district, which also led to an amazing philanthropic opportunity in partnership with the Denver Public Schools Foundation that's really allowed us to do this work, which essentially, Ann, is about going out, making safe and supportive environments that foster resiliency in our kids.
So how do you do that?
Yeah, well, we're going out right now. We're training all our schools. We've trained over 100 schools last year in trauma-informed practices and really teaching them how to be safe, supportive adults in our students' lives, how to create space for students to have agency and voice, come in and be a part of the classroom and the design of their classrooms, to allow them to see their culture and their identity represented in classrooms. It's really a critical part that students have these relationships with their teachers so that we can really be aware of the challenges going on in their lives.
Yeah, this has really changed over the years, hasn't it, the student-teacher relationship? But you're right, with that history that kids bring to the classroom and then compounded by the school shootings that we hear about, you know, all of this has to be top of mind for everyone.
That's right. We see these acute events, you know, students experience single isolated events of trauma all the time, and it's part of our human experience. Trauma can be really invisible at times. It knows no socioeconomic boundaries, so it's a part of our human experience. So the more that we have safe and supportive environments in our schools, we can really help foster resiliency in students so that they can overcome traumatic experiences.
So give me some specific examples. What is happening in the classroom? What are teachers doing differently now that they didn't do before?
Yeah, it's really a mindset shift in our educators. They need to be able to realize and recognize trauma that students bring in so that they can adapt their adult behavior and change classroom practices to really respond. So, for instance, if you have a student maybe who's experiencing homelessness, we know that they may have certain issues with their personal items, you know, food security. There's all sorts of ways this can really manifest. So we're really just making sure our teachers know what is going on in these students' lives that impacts their learning.
So is it giving them the tools so that they can recognize, because kids aren't going to come out and say, hey teacher, I'm homeless, or I've been abused, or...
That's right. We're not teaching teachers to be clinicians or therapists. We have special service providers, school psychologists, who are really that next tier of support for students. But really, teachers need to be able to create safe relationships with our kids so that they can have open and honest dialogues, especially in a moment of heightened crisis, or if a student's acting out, that we know that behavior is not pointed at the adult in the classroom. It's probably something they're experiencing in their home or in their environment or in their community. We see a lot of students bring forth historical trauma, which can be, you know, a cumulative trauma experienced by a group of people that's carried forward across generations, you know, like a race-based trauma or discrimination and harassment. Those types of things are on our students' minds when they come into school. So
what is there that are these safe environments for kids then? How do they know to seek someone or something out?
Well, there's some great resources. Safe to Tell is a great way that students can self-report about concerns they have. But really, when our teachers have really authentic relationships, they're able to identify students who may be in need of additional support. So then we're able to refer them to our mental health partners. We have great school-based health clinics in partnership with Denver Health and Mental Health Centers of Denver. So we know we can refer students to the services they need when we're able to identify them. So there's screeners we can use. We have social-emotional screeners that allow us to really identify certain student groups or individuals that we need to work with.
We have about 30 seconds left. Is there something you should tell parents that parents need to know about? They're sending their kids off to school right now.
Kids are resilient. And it's up to us as the adults to ensure that these students have resiliency, to give them the social emotional skills and the conflict resolution skills they need to be successful in life.
Well, we wish you well on a new school year, and thank you so much for being here, Jay Grimm.
Appreciate it.
All right. Listen, if you ever have a question or a segment idea, you can tweet us at Denver 7 Politics. You can also watch today's segments anytime at thedenverchannel.com/Politics Unplugged. We thank you so much for spending part of your weekend with us. We will see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics Unplugged.